You know how sometimes people will jump from relationship to relationship, or when they're single, they will constantly be searching for somebody outside of them to externally validate them, or to give them attention, or to give them something ultimately that they can't give themselves. And this is most of the world, I would say. I've definitely experienced this and experienced this still on certain occasions. And I have a solution for all of this. However, it is something that is simple, but not necessarily easy to achieve. So, this is all about self partnering. And this is especially going to apply to those who have more anxious attachment styles. However, this could apply to anybody. And really, the truth about self partnering is that as difficult as it can be in the beginning, it's actually one of the easiest things that we can do because we are the person that we are guaranteed to be with our entire lives, right? Like there's nobody else in this world that we are for sure 100% going to be with our entire lives. It is truly us. So even though this may feel challenging or difficult, it is something that is like the best thing that we could possibly do for ourselves. And it's actually very helpful when it comes to manifesting. And I know this might sound like a little bit interesting because it's like, why would manifesting have such a, why would self partnering have such an impact on manifestation, right? Okay, I'm going to explain a little bit of how and why it helps us manifest and how we can also move through it. So, like I said, self partnering is really all about becoming your own partner. So often we try to become these, amazing, beautiful, incredible people, and that's fabulous and all. Who are we doing it for though? Are we actually doing it for ourselves, or are we doing it because we're seeking approval or validation or attention from somebody else? Because I know that I've definitely been in both of these pockets. However, when I've actually given myself chances to self partner, and that is not searching for any type of relationship or any type of external validation or attention, that's when huge shifts actually start to occur for me. So here I have three kind of hows of self partnering. So, this is why and how it's important to do it. So, the very first is basically when we're in a space of self partnering, we are pushed to hold the vibration of actually being able to hold space for ourselves. So, like, imagine the moments where we are able to fully hold space for ourselves and we're not like using a need for external validation to influence our actions. I learned this in a huge way during my last 10-day Vipassana meditation that I did back in February. And I was relying so much on other people to hold space for me and to hold me and to assure me that I completely forgot how to do it for myself. And then when I was put in a position where I literally had to, for 10 days straight, only rely on my relationship with me and, of course, the meditation, then I had to relearn it. I had to relearn how to actually make this happen. And so really pushing yourself to hold space for you. Okay. And I'll explain how to do this at the end, but this is the number one thing, the number one how of self partnership and why it is able to help us to manifest. Because when we are forced to hold that vibration of holding space for ourselves, then we automatically have to hold a higher vibration because we have to actually be able to hold ourselves. And how beautiful is that? All right. So the second thing is we choose to rely on ourselves. And if we cannot, we create the energy we need to so that we can. We choose to rely on ourselves. We make the choice of relying on ourselves. And if we're not able to do this, then we create the energy within in order to do that. For example, we can, do some yoga, do some dancing, do some singing, like do something that helps you to create an energy so powerful that it's something that you can lean on. It's something that you can really rely on, right? So the third thing is that we actually get to know ourselves. And hold up, let me just look at my notes here. We actually get to know ourselves. You really know. Oh yeah. So okay, the third thing is that we actually get to know ourselves. So like meaning we are placed in a position where we have to know who we are. We have to know the truth of who we are. We have to know our shadows. We have to know our saboteurs. We have to, be able to hold space for ourselves. We have to be able to rely on ourselves. And in order to do that, we need to know who we actually are. And I had this conversation with a friend recently where she was going through a her most biggest breakup yet and was having a bit of a hard time with it. And she questioned herself at one moment, being like, wait, who am I even? Who am I really? And it's so true because sometimes we can get so lost in needing validation or needing partnership from people outside of us that we start to, it's like we start to morph ourselves into beings that meet their expectations and their perceptions of who we are instead of actually becoming the person that we really are and challenging ourselves to become more of that person every single day. So, yeah, know yourself. So, again, the three things of why it's helpful to self partner, why it's like probably the one of the best things that you can ever do, and how it helps us to manifest is because one, we are pushed to hold the vibration of holding space for ourselves, which is a very high vibration. Two, we actually are put in a position of relying on ourselves. And then when we cannot rely on ourselves, we create the energy. So we create even more energy and even higher vibration so that we can rely on ourselves. And the third is to actually get to know ourselves. These three things are both the reason self partnering is so important and so powerful, as well as the reasons why they help us to manifest. They help us to raise our vibration. They help us to get in tune with what the heart actually wants, right? They help us to get in tune with our true desires, our manifestations that really come from the heart, not a manifestation that comes from, say, like a saboteur or a shadow or an ego or, something that's really just ultimately out of alignment. So if that makes sense to you, I'll just drop a comment in the below. Just drop a comment in the comment section, and I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear, what is it that you want to learn about yourself more? I would love to hear what is it that you want to feel when you start to actually hold space for yourself. What is it that you want to experience when you are fully relying on yourself? And if you aren't able to fully rely on yourself right now, what are the things that you need to do in order to create that energy? Do you need to do more yoga or meditate or go for runs or be in nature or do some witchcraft or like what is it that you need to do? Yeah. All right. So how are we actually going to make this happen, right? So it's very clear that this is important. Self-partnering is important. It's very clear that holding space for ourselves, that relying on ourselves, that knowing ourselves is super important. I think if you're on this channel watching this video, you probably know that already. But 3 ways to actually make this happen. So I have this in my beautiful little notebook here. I actually wrote it on like the second page because I'm like, this is actually so important and something helpful for me to remember too. So the first of the how is next time that you are craving attention or validation, or the next time that you're, just like craving support from someone else, see if you can wait a little bit of time and find that for yourself. See if you can wait 10 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe half a day, and really hold space for yourself. And by doing that, you're also, not only are you bringing yourself into the energy field of being able to hold space for yourself, but you're also being pushed to rely on yourself So you're also in a position where creating energy to make that happen is going to be super helpful too, right? All right, the next thing is, how can you intentionally date yourself like you do with a partner? Like how can you bring yourself on a magnificent date? Or a friend of mine always suggests me to buy myself flowers if I'm feeling low. How can you make yourself coffee in the morning and treat it like the way you would make it for somebody that you are so madly in love with? Not just rushing around like I definitely do sometimes. I think I can improve my coffee making skills when it comes to self partnering for sure. So if you can also do that and improve your coffee making skills, and when I say that, I mean just make it more mindfully, with a bit more love, don't rush it, then let me know about that. Write that in the comments because I that's something I really want to work on. Not rushing a coffee so I can quickly drink it. Anyways, okay, I digress. So the third thing is get in touch with the voice of your heart. When you do that, you will know who you are. Okay? This is like probably the biggest and most powerful tool that I have. And it's not something I was able to just develop overnight. However, like there's magical people out there. Like Eckhart Tolle woke up one day just freaking enlightened. So that's a possibility. Like you could just tomorrow morning wake up and be like, wow, I actually know the voice of my heart. If that's not the case, I do actually have a freebie to get in touch with the voice of your heart. The more you listen to it, the more you're going to learn that connection and understand that. So I will include that in the description. And and let me know how that goes if you do choose to do that, to get to know this part of you. So to repeat, how are we going to start? How are we going to self partner in an incredible way, in such an incredible way, so that we can, one, ultimately love ourselves completely and unconditionally, and two, manifest easier and manifest in a more, magnificent, magical, beautiful way. So, 3 whys, 3 hows is hold the vibration of always being able to hold space for yourself, create the energy to rely on yourself, know who you are. The 3 hows to make this happen: hold space for yourself, actually do it. Do it for an allotted amount of time the next time you need it. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 3 hours, whatever it may be, You don't need to go overboard. 2, intentionally date yourself. And 3, get in touch with the voice of your heart. And this is an ongoing practice, something that I honestly still practice every single day, because I think every single day I have a challenge when it comes to self-love, even if it's like super, super minor, So if you are feeling like you're having challenges when it comes to self-love or self-partnering, please know that it's normal. And and let me know how these go with you. And I hope that you all loved this. And if you did, please, like, subscribe, leave comments, follow, do all the things, and get in touch with me. Let me know how all of this lands. And when it comes to self-love and yoga and spirituality and manifestation, if there's anything that you want to hear me talk about, let me know. And as long as it's one of my areas of expertise and aiming in an area that I'm aiming for mastery in, then I am very happy to answer that. And if you're watching this on video, this is like such a cool, the way that I'm moving the light with my hand right now. That's beautiful. All right, and if you're not watching this on video, get on YouTube so that you can see this, because like, wow, it's like that is true moving vibration. Okay, anyways, enough of that. I just totally like inner childed out on that moment. All right, so thank you so much for listening, for watching. I am so grateful for you every step of the way. Thank you so much for being here. I send you all big love.